Hello YouTube! Today in the Naughty Librarian I'm going over my July TBR list. I have a lot of books on my July TBR list, like an insane number of books. But that's mainly because it is also the Reading Rush, formerly known as Booktube-A-Thon, which I do every year. So I also want to make this a TBR for the Reading Rush as well, so I'm going to be going through the books I'm reading in July, as well as which books are going to apply to which reading prompt for the Reading Rush. The Reading Rush is from July 22nd to the 28th, and I believe there are 7 reading challenges because it is a readathon, but really, I'm going to read books when I want to read them. I'm an adult. I don't care. I'll read them when I want. Also, there are video challenges every day, so during that week, I will probably be posting a video every day because there are different challenges, so we shall see. I don't know how the future's going to go. It'll probably go fine, but we'll find out together. Let's just get into July. It's going to be a big reading month. First things first, I'm going to read Stepsister by Mark Lawrence. I keep bumping this. I've been wanting to read this for so long. My friend Mara from Books Like Whoa sent this to me for Christmas, and I've been wanting to read it so much. And it's already July, and I still haven't read it, so it's been on my shelf for 7 months. So, you know, it's going to have to be one of those things where I just say, okay, I'm going to put my foot down, I'm going to read it now. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep letting myself, like, push it into the future. This sounds super cool. It's kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like a school monastery type of thing where young girls are trained to be assassins. So it is like assassin nuns, I guess is a way to say it, but like I'm so into it. It's a series I've been wanting to read for so long. I've heard amazing things about it. And like everything about the cover sounds cool. The premise sounds cool. Like I love assassin stories. So definitely gonna pick this up and read it finally. I'm also going to finish off this Forbidden Heart series by Alisha with Hurts to Love You. This is book 3 of the trilogy. I want to finish it. I've read the other 2 and they both have been like complete, like pulpy, dramatic romances. And I just want to read another one. This one is kind of with an heiress and a kind of bad boy tattoo artist. So I'm like, okay. Heiress and a tattoo artist, like I want to see where that goes. It's kind of like a forced proximity type of trope where Evangeline the heiress and Gabe the tattoo artist, they're both in a wedding together and they're all like on a resort, I think, and they're in close quarters, so maybe they're gonna end up being in the same room and oh no, is there only one bed? Like, I see that coming and I'm into it, and it's just gonna be dramatic and over dramatic and pulpy. And I've been really loving that series just because it's like ridiculous soap opera stuff. And I just kind of want that sometimes. So it's going to be smutty, it's going to be dramatic, and I'm into it. I'm also going to continue with the London Underground series by Leigh with Counting on a Countess. This is book 2 of this trilogy. I read book 1 a while ago and I enjoyed it because Leigh kind of does this thing with her historical romances where her females are usually very independent and they're usually sex positive, and that's awesome because you know what? I don't read historical romance for accuracy. I just want to see a girl wear an awesome dress and have dirty sex with the Duke. Am I right? Yes, I am. This is a historical romance. It is a marriage convenience story, which I love. I'm like such a sucker for that trope. I love fake dating, marriage convenience, all that stuff. I love it because I always fall in love for real and I love it. This one is about Kit, who is kind of a bit of a ne'er-do-well. He's a little bit of a cad about town, and he has a lot of money because he is like some type of the peerage, I forget what right now. And Tamsin, who is kind of piratey, I'll say. She's basically a smuggler. She's shipping illegal goods. And they kind of end up in this like marriage of convenience because he's going to lose his inheritance if he isn't married. And I don't know. There's gonna be drama and historical stuff and bodice ripping, and I'm into it. I like that other book by Leigh, even though, like, I wish it was funnier, like Tessa Bailey, where it's really funny. These are kind of more dramatic, but they are very sex positive and feminist, so I do want to read it. Speaking of good old Tessa Bailey, I am going to be reading Goddess of the Hunt, which is bananas that I haven't read yet. This is the Wanton Dairymaids trilogy, which... Wanton Dairymaids, okay, tell me more. This is about Lucy and Jeremy, and Lucy is very much an adventuresome woman, and she needs to go hunting for a husband. So she's like, hey, Jeremy, you're my brother's friend. Let's like pretend date so I can get practice, so I can get a husband. Love fake dating so freaking much. And it's a Tessa Dare I haven't read yet. There are a few Tessas I haven't gotten around to because I don't know why. There's literally no reason. It's just I think I've been like hoarding them so I could just binge. And now that I have all 3 books of this series, like it's time to binge it. Another romance I'm going to pick up is Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. Also, I'm going to be reading this for one of the reading challenges for the Reading Rush, which is challenge number 1. Read a book with purple on the cover, and this has got a shit ton of purple on it. I have been hearing nothing but amazing things about this book. It's a rom-com. It's about a girl named Georgette who is basically the town clown. She is like a child entertainer for like birthday parties, which isn't a sexy profession. I get it. I get her plight. And basically she's like, oh, I want to be a sexy person. Hey, Travis, you're like my brother's friend and you were a pro baseball player and you're like the town bad boy. Hey, why don't we fake date so then people will think I'm sexy? Fake dating. Basically, I'm just doing fake dating for life. That's all the books I'm reading this month. I really didn't plan that. I collected all the books I want to read and put them in a stack, and I didn't realize how many of them are fake dating till right now. So I guess I have a theme for the month. It's fake dating. Sticking with that fake dating trope, I have The Bride Test by Helen Hong. I have been really wanting to read this so much. I loved The Kiss Quotient, which is her first book. It's one of my top books of 2018. So this one came out. I need to read it. And I have been waiting to read it a little bit just because I had other books in front of it, but it's also signed. I ordered a special signed copy to me because that's how much I love this author. And it is kind of a mail order bride type situation where there is this guy, his name is Kai, and you meet him in Kiss Quotient. He has autism, he's on the spectrum, and his mother kind of orders him a mail order bride, and she is a girl living in, I think Korea? I'm not sure exactly, but I think she's in Korea, and she wants to come to America, and oh, I get an opportunity to marry an American. Cool, let's go there. So she has to come to America, and they meet, and it's like an awkward kind of romance, and I'm really into it, and I think it's just going to be awesome and adorable, and I love it. And you know, fake dating, marriage convenience, it's kind of my jam right now, apparently. I'm also going to be reading Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. I got the arc of this at Y'all West, and I've been really wanting to read it. It's kind of, it's a reimagining of the Cinderella story, but told from the ugly stepsister's perspective, and it's very feminist. It's about how unrealistic standards of beauty affect women, how the patriarchy in general pits women against each other. So it's a much more feminist, interesting, social take on Cinderella. And I have started reading this, I will say that. I'm about halfway through, and I'm genuinely enjoying it quite a bit. So I have high hopes for this one. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a very interesting concept. I think it's very well written so far. But I'm not going to get too into it because I still have half the book to read. It can go horribly wrong still. We'll find out. But so far, so good. I'm liking it. I am also continuing on my Sarah J. Maas journey with A Court of Thorns and Roses, and this is also going to be fulfilling one of the reading challenges for the Reading Rush, which is challenge number 3, is to read a book you meant to read last year. And I have been meaning to read this for many years, and I'm finally getting to it now, because this has been working for me very well, like one Sarah J. Maas book a month, every month. So far, so good. Like, I have been sticking to that, and it's been working. I think if I pushed myself too hard, I would have burnt out, so this is going well. And this is another, I think, fae kind of series. I believe this is kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I don't want to look up any more info on it because there's so many spoilers around the internet and so many memes and everything. So I have basic ideas of some things that might happen in here, but I don't want to look up any more information. I want to kind of go in blind and let it speak for itself. So I've been very actively not looking up spoilers, which is weird for me because I freaking love spoilers. I'm also going to be reading The Candle and the Flame by Nafisa Azad, and it's going to be fulfilling a reading challenge for the Reading Rush, which is challenge number 4, which is to pick a first book by an author. And since this is a debut, it is a first book. And this is Indian-inspired fantasy. It is about this girl named Fatima, and she lives in kind of a crossroads city. and there's djinn and ifrits and lots of magic, and I think war and like political intrigue. I'm not exactly sure what the plot of the story is. I just know there's a girl named Fatima, and then she has like magic somehow. Somehow she is able to harness ifrit fire magic. And there's probably gonna be some shit that goes down about that. But yeah, I have started reading this. I'm only like 44 pages in. I read a little tiny bit of it, and I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm finding it very difficult to read. I am enjoying it because it's very diverse. I'm learning a lot about the Indian culture. There are words in other languages, and they're very descriptive words, and they make sense if you speak that language. But they're very difficult to understand for me. The fact of the matter is, I went to the back of this and I realized, oh my gosh, they had to put a glossary. And it's a lot of pages of a glossary, single spaced. Like there's a lot of words in here that they had to put a glossary in the back. So it's not just me, apparently. I'm just finding it very difficult to read because I have to stop reading and look up a word like every other sentence. And then even the definition of the word and the word in the context clues doesn't give me enough information, so then I have to go Google it. So it's taking me a very long time to read this, so I don't know. I'm hoping it gets better soon, because right now I'm having a hard time with it. But I am learning a lot. I've learned a lot of new things, so there's that. I am also going to be reading Radiance by Grace Draven. I have been meaning to read this for a long time. It's been recommended to me repeatedly by many of my friends. And so a bunch of my friends and I were going to be buddy reading this. So I'm going to be buddy reading with Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany, Mara from Books Like Whoa, and Leanna from Leanna's Library. This is like a millionth reread for Leanna, but we're all going to read it. We're going to do it because Leanna loves this book so much. She's told so much about it. We're like, okay, we'll all read it in July. So we're going to do it. Again, this is another marriage of convenience story. I really didn't plan this. Like, all of the books are marriage of convenience or fake dating. I really didn't plan it. It just kind of happened that way. But marriage of convenience, fantasy romance. I don't really know a lot about it. I know they're like two different species. Like, they're both humanoid species. Like, he's probably like a demon-y type of thing, and she's like a human. So it's like, all their parts match up, but they're two different species. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's a fantasy romance. I'm just gonna stop talking because that went to a weird place. I am also very excited to read The Shadow Glass by Rin Chupeco. This is the finale of the Bone Witch series. I love the Bone Witch series. It doesn't get a lot of hype because it's kind of weird and it's like an odd story format and it's slow sometimes, but like, it is so gorgeously written. I recommend it night and day to people. I love it so much. It's about a girl named Taya, who is a bone witch, which essentially is a necromancer. She can raise the dead. And it's basically the story of how she becomes the villain of the story. And maybe not necessarily the villain. She might more or less be the anti-hero of the story. And it's very fascinating because it's told in the past and the present, because the past Tia, you're learning how she becomes present Tia, which is a very different character than the past Tia. So I love it. I love this series so much. It's beautifully written. I'm very excited to get the finale going. I'm also going to read The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This is part of her new series. It's the Elder Curses series. So it's Shadowhunters. It's kind of going back in time a little bit because I believe this series takes place in between books 3 and 4 of the Mortal Instrument series. So going back in time a bit. It's basically Magnus and Alec being boyfriends, going on an adventure through Europe. And in this case, they come across this cult called the Red Hand, and they are, you know, getting into some shenanigans, and Magnus is like, oh, those guys? Shit, I invented that cult, like, as a joke. And so they have to go deal with them getting into shenanigans. And this is also going to be fulfilling a reading challenge for the Reading Rush, which I believe is Challenge 5, which is to read a book with a non-human main character. So Magnus is a warlock. He is part demon, so he is not human. He's a mortal warlock, super powerful, not a human. So definitely fulfills a challenge. You know, I was gonna wait a little longer before I read Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, but then I just like, I don't want to. I'm gonna read it now. I just read Enchantment of Ravens, her debut, and I absolutely loved it. It's adorable and wonderful, so I was like, okay, you know what? let's do this. Let's go. Let's go right now. Let's do this. Sorcery of Thorns is so fascinating of a concept. It's like basically made of things that would appeal to me. In this world, librarians carry swords because the books they care for are like grimoires. You could have a grimoire full of, you know, good magic, like healing spells, you know, whatever, happy light magic spells. And that book probably has a good temperament. And then you have like a grimoire that's full of like evil death magic spells. Really nasty shit. Those books, you gotta keep in a cell and carry a sword around because they're likely to kill people. These books are kind of sentient. And librarians are the badass people who keep them. And I'm like, yeah, librarians can be badass. I love it. This magic is librarians, and they're librarians with swords. It's basically like made of things that if you told me a book was about, I'd be like, give it to me now. And I really liked your other book, so I feel like that kind of clever writing style is going to transfer over just from the premise. It feels like it lends itself to that story, so I have high hopes that I'm going to really enjoy this. The last book I'm going to be reading in July is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is another one I was thinking about putting off, and then I'm like, nah, I want to read it now. I'm going to do it. Also, this is fulfilling a challenge for the Reading Rush, which is challenge 6, I believe, which is to read a book with 5 or more words in the title. So, Daisy Jones and the Six. It's 5 words. The ampersand could be a word, okay? So 5 words, it counts. And this is kind of historical. This is historical fiction. Let's just be real. It's Stevie Nicks without being Stevie Nicks. It's very much kind of a Fleetwood Mac type of story. I mean, if you're looking for a band with a lot of drama in historical, like 1960s and 70s, go with Fleetwood Mac. They have a crazy drama. But this is about Daisy Jones, who is a young woman rising to fame with this band and her inevitable rise and fall from fame. So it's going to be a lot of interesting concepts going on here. I have heard the complaint from a lot of people that it was kind of difficult to read because the format is kind of oral history, so it's more like interviews. So I have heard really good things about the audiobook that has like a full cast and everything, so I definitely think I'm going to listen to this on audio because I've heard nothing but great things about the audio like production for it. And also I feel like it's going to be more palatable if I have a bunch of different like people talking rather than having to read an interview. It's going to make more sense, so I'm going to go with audio for this one. Oh wait, I forgot a book. That wasn't the last book I'm reading. I forgot about the Wicked Spirits Book Club. The book of the month for July is Dead Witch Walking by Kim Harrison. This is the book that won the poll. We are going to be reading this. It's about a witch who I'm assuming is going to be solving some crimes. I haven't even read the blurb on this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so she's a bounty hunter witch, and there's evil vampires. And it's in Cincinnati, which is an odd place to have this take place, but okay, I'm alright with that. But yeah, Dead Witch Walking, I have been wanting to read this. This is the book of the month for July, Wicked Spirits Book Club. It's going to be awesome. I am hoping it's a lot better than Dark Fever, because oh my gosh, what a dumpster fire. You guys have seen that video, so this one. I have high hopes for it. Okay, that's it. That's all the books. There's a lot of books in July. I put a lot on this TBR mainly because I want options, because I might not get to all of them, but like I wanted the idea in my brain to get to it. So if I don't get to all of them, it's okay. I'm gonna like make my peace with that right now. But I just put a lot in there for the sake of it. There's gonna be a readathon, so I'm actively going to be reading a lot this month. So maybe I'll get to all of them, maybe I won't. We'll find out together. Let me know in a comment down below. Are you going to be reading any of these books in July? If so, let me know. We can Twitter chat about it or something. It'll be awesome. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon.